Hello everyone, welcome to Shelf Space. I'm your host, Ron13, and today we are finally reviewing the GBN-Guard frame from Build Divers. That's right, we are finally taking a look at it. I know I teased you guys earlier with the review of the Ectotron, but this time, for real. So, like I said, this is from Build Divers. It's an HG kit, 1/144 scale, which is kind of funny considering this doesn't actually exist as a real mobile suit, so how can it be 1/44 scale, but whatevs. And on the box, we got a cool illustration, or three, of the Guard frame with its more rounded head with blue, gray, and then it's blocky, I think it's Dogram is what it's based off of head. Down here we got the blue Bandai Spirits logo. It says GBN-Guard frame, GM's mobile suit, which I'm thinking it's GM, not Jim, because I believe it stands for Game Master, which is the gun diver guy that runs everything. Anyway, so on the side we got some cool action shots showing off the posability and all the ports that it cover this thing. Got some text describing all that. Should also be noted that these are all obviously painted. And then a call out for just the build custom parts. Looks like we got the no-name rifle and the machine rider, which I never did end up picking that up, but it's probably for the best because when it actually came out, it looked a little too silly. On the side, we got same illustration as the front, all the same text, and BandaiHobby.net. On this side, we got nice painted still shot, a little description of everything. I'll hold that there and you guys can read it. And then a little description about Build Divers, and then all your usual warning information. And oh, we still had a price on this one. So this was about 1,600 yen, so roughly 16, 17 bucks. Yeah, I don't know if I paid that much or that little for it, but yeah. Then on this side, same as the other, but we got the bluefin sticker. That's enough of that. Let's look at the actual kit itself. And here he is. And yes, he's going to look very familiar. The GBN based Gundam, which I reviewed and did that build off thing earlier in the year, is heavily based off of this guy. In fact, he's got some of the same weapons. So something to be aware of, I guess. But really, that aside, I quite like the look of this kit. It's very simple, but it does a lot with it, I think. I think the only thing I don't really care for is the feet. The feet are these weird little, I don't even know what to call these things, but I don't dig them. I prefer my Gundams to have normal feet. Anyway, but other than that, he looks pretty neat. I got the Dogram head on him, and we will go ahead and zoom in on that so you can get a good idea of it. So here is the head that I have equipped. And it looks really, really cool. I dig this style with the sort of pseudo-cockpit thing going on here. You can rotate it all the way around if you want. He does got a little sticker back there. I think that's the only sticker I ended up using. The only thing that isn't super great is that on the packaging and stuff like that, it shows white lines down here for like the framing of the cockpit glass. And obviously it doesn't have that, so that's something you will have to paint if you really, really want that. I don't know if I want it that much. But yeah, I just thought that this style of head was really neat looking, and the fact that I recognize what it came from, and it's something that's, at least in America, is somewhat obscure. I was like, oh, I gotta have this one. Now, if you wanted, you could have used this head. In fact, we'll go ahead, just pop that off, pop this on. And I don't know if this one is supposed to be referencing anything. It looks kind of like a helmet from one of the Daft Punk people, but I don't think that's what it's supposed to be. But this one is fairly neat as well. And you do actually have options even with between the two heads, because you have the smoky gray plastic like this, or the blue plastic like this. I thought that the blue plastic looked cooler, so I went with that. Articulation wise, it can rotate around. You're on a double joint thing that lets you, what are the people calling it, turkey neck, back and forth. You can look up a little bit, but the armor on the shoulders and stuff will keep him from looking too far up. And if you go too far, you just rip his head right off his shoulders. But really a pretty decent range of movement, especially for an HG. You can actually look down pretty good too. I'm digging it. Let's go see how movable everything else is. Okay then. So shoulder is on a ball socket joint, but also has some neat movement here. I think we saw that in the base Gundam. So this entire shoulder assembly can move forward. And the polycap can even move up a little bit to increase his range of shoulder movement. Very, very cool. Then on the inside of the shoulder, you got basically a hinge joint there, allowing for quite a range of movement. The elbow is double jointed, giving you a full bend. Very cool. The hands are ball socket joints, and there is also a little hinge joint for that kind of movement. That is amazing at this scale. You do not see that very often. Let's see. Waist. There's a little bit of movement for the abs. Not much of one. Thruster bells move a little bit. Or maybe that's just because they're not in there securely. Waist can rotate all the way around, if that's your thing. There is no front or back skirt, so you should be able to kick up fairly far, though you are getting a little bit of bumping there on the armor. And then back, bumping there. So, though still, that's pretty reasonable, I think. Knee joint, double jointed, allowing for pretty decent bend there. And then ankle is on sort of a series of joints. That is one cool thing about the way this is made. So you got a polycap ball and socket joint right there. That allows for some movement, but there's also hinging up here. And yeah, so even though I may not like the design of the feet, you get some amazing ankle articulation on this figure. Now let's see. Can he do the splits? Not quite. The armor on the side is preventing it. If that wasn't there, you of course probably would have been able to. Oh, that leg almost came out. But considering it's an HG kit, posability on this thing is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, look at that. That ankle articulation is just amazing. Super happy with that. Ta-da! Pretty cool. So, accessory-wise, he doesn't come with a whole lot. He has, you know, the extra head, like we've been talking about, and he has these two pistol rifle things, which actually are in two parts. So if you wanted, you could have that off, and you could have this sort of double-barreled little pistol thing going on. And yeah. So he does no beam sabers, no large beam rifle like the GBN base Gundam. Just those. He does have ports for stuff, so like if we wanted to, we could probably attach a shield back there. And there are ports all over this backpack, if I remember correctly. Yeah, see, you got ones there, and then some on the sides of the backpack as well. Then, of course, here, here, here. Not as many as the Gym, I've been told. But still, pretty darn impressive. Extra parts that it does come with. Like I said before, it has different options for the head. So you have the smoky gray version of this thing or the light blue version of this thing. Extra polycap thing for the neck, but that's not super uncommon. And then on this HGBF1 runner, you got a lot of pieces here that aren't being used for anything. But that's okay. That's all custom part fodder. Who knows? Maybe I have some ideas for this. Or maybe I don't. I am curious about some of these parts, though. I need to look up to see what kits use this runner. Sticker-wise, it had 3 little stickers. I only used one. I'm not really sure where the other ones are. And then you have this huge area of blue sticker that, to be honest, I wasn't sure what to do with it on this one. I guess on this I could cut this out and put it behind there. Just don't know if I really would want to. But definitely holding on to this because it's always a good idea to have foil sticker stuff around. Shoki of Shoki Reviews taught me that. Comparison-wise, let's compare him to the guy that was made after him, the base Gundam. Where did I put that? Be right back. Here he is. Okay, so here they are together. GBN base Gundam, GBN-Guard frame. They're roughly the same height. Base Gundam gets a little bit of extra height due to the crest and the V-fins, but you can't really count that now, can ya? But articulation-wise, they're pretty much identical because they share the exact same frame. Heck, they have some of the same arms and stuff. So, and I think the legs are the same, yeah. This one just has that sort of pearlescent and neon plastic thing going for it. Though I am curious about something. Let's pop this shield off. Pop it on over here. There we go. Oh, that looks pretty cool. Very cool. So yeah, I mean, it's not really a big surprise. They are based off the same frame. So, and they come from the same series, so they're going to be very similar looking. And their articulation is all the same. And now they will kung fu fight. Yeah. All right. Oh, hand cover fell off. Don't go hand grenade on me, dude. That's how you can take the weapons in and out, is you have to remove the hand plate. Anyway, so like I said, this is actually a really cool figure. I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of personality, I suppose, on his own, though I dig the heads. But as a base for customs and stuff, I don't think you can necessarily go wrong with this guy. Maybe the Jim might be a little bit of a better option, or this guy. But if you want something with a little bit of a different look to start off with, I think this might be your dude. I actually just recently started formulating some ideas for this, so we'll see where that goes. Because, I keep on saying I have ideas, and I hardly execute any of them because I don't have enough time. Anyway, recommended figure. Thank you for watching the review. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. Check the description below to see links to my storefront for official shelf space t-shirts and other merchandise. And yeah, so thank you again, and I'll see you the next time you invade my shelf space.